Hello, everybody, and welcome to October's edition of the Butterfly Princess Show Book Club. This month, I'm going to be discussing the book Evil Love by Evil Love, The Life and Crimes of Fred West by Geoffrey Wansell. Now, I must put out a bit of a warning about this book, that this book may not, this episode will be containing a lot of adult themes about, sexual abuse, murder, and incest, and things like that. So I just want to put out a bit of a warning about that, about what it will contain, because it might not be suitable for younger viewers. So, but here goes. Yeah, so this book is a book by Geoffrey Wansell, who has written a number of books on serial killers. He wrote a book about the murder of the schoolgirl Millie Dowler, that was a man called Levi Belfield. And he's also worked with Netflix and other things on a series about another serial killer, Dennis Nielsen. But this book was originally written in 1996, shortly after the murder trial of Fred West's wife, Rosemary West, who stood trial for her part in the murders of 10 victims. Now, this book was originally released in 1996, but it was re-released in 2022, and this was the first book that Geoffrey Wansell wrote about a serial killer, and this introduced him to the world of writing about real life crime. So this book takes you on a journey about the life of Frederick Walter Stephen West, who was born in Muchmarcle, and it tells you about his life before he met Rose, and it tells you about all the women he had, all the women he took advantage of and had sexual relationships with, or sexually abused, or took advantage of. And it gives you a real in-depth account of the abhorrent crimes that he undertook. What happened was that Geoffrey Wansell became the official biographer of Fred West when he gained access to a number of records about the crimes of Fred West. So he was given access to a lot of videotapes, police interviews with Rosemary West, prison diaries, and for solicitor interviews that Fred West gave with his first solicitor Harold Ogden. Now, this is not only these videotapes and things that are the most chilling aspect of this book. The most chilling aspect is written in the words of Fred West himself, and sort of the chilling aspect that he spoke about his crimes. and so forth. So it takes you on a journey about how he escaped justice for his crimes, because he committed suicide by hanging himself in his prison cell in Birmingham on New Year's Day in 1995, and Rosemary West was just left to face the consequences, and she was sort of charged and convicted of her part in 10 murders, and she was sentenced to a whole life order, which will sort of release that. She will never be released. You know, she's still in prison now, and she will be for the rest of her life. She's currently in a prison in Yorkshire or something. The most thing was that when Fred West killed himself in 1995, his brother John, who was also awaiting the outcome of his rape trial, also killed himself by hanging as well. So there's a stark contrast there. So that was the sort of stuff. So it tells you about the family of Frederick Walter Stephen West, how he was the one of the children of Walter West and a lady called Daisy Hannah Hill, and they were brought up in a house of incest and rape. Walter West was quite a violent man who would, be sexually violent towards his wife, and also Fred West actually embarked on an ancestral relationship with his own mother, Daisy Hannah Hill, and that would be sort of his outlook on life, has he brought up his own children as well, because West had this sort of sick, he sort of had this sick, unnatural thought that it was the duty of a father of a daughter. It was the duty of the father to take his daughter's virginity, so he would have, there would be many occasions where he would rape and molest, and have sexual intercourse with his own children, particularly Heather West and Anna Marie West, his eldest daughter, and he would kill a load of other women who would become lodgers at Cromwell Street. And obviously, when he met Rose, she had a similar upbringing. Rose was Rose was 12 years younger than West. So when she actually met West, she was 15 years old. West was 27, and so there was that big age gap, and he obviously had sex with Rose before the legal age of 16 anyway. And Rose was sort of like kind of a slow child, so Rose would have this sort of nickname of the sort of Dozy Rosie, and she was one of the youngest children of her mother, of her parents, of William Letts and her mother. So the mother of Rose West had suffered from various different serious bouts of depression throughout her life. She received shock convulsion therapy during the time she was pregnant with Rose, and many people who have read about the case and studied the case of Fred and Rose West believe that, you know, Rose's sort of brain and development suffered quite a lot because of because of the shock convulsion therapy that her mother received. Rose was also molested by her own father, William Letts. She was often raped and embarked on an ancestral sexual relationship with her father, like West did with his mother. Then in late years, when Rose became a bit younger, Rose would sort of molest her younger brothers, Graham and Gordon, because that was seen as the norm. So Rose and Fred West were sort of a match made in heaven, really. And so that's the story in a nutshell. And it also tells the story of you know, the horrors that went on in like 25 Cromwell Street, which was the family home in Gloucestershire, that became known as the House of Horrors, where the West would take in various female tenants and sort of murder and sexually abuse and rape them, and it was only when social services heard about this joke that you know, the eldest child, Heather West, was under the patio, that social services alerted the police to the, you know, and they wanted to find Heather West, and it was through you know, digging up the garden at Cromwell Street that they actually learned, and the full horrors of the West crime were fully revealed, because they discovered human remains, human bones, and that were dug up in Cromwell Street. So that's the story in a nutshell, really. And I really enjoyed this book because not only you know, I'm a fan of true crime. I'm you know, if any like a true crime documentary series or a documentary program comes on about you know, true crime, so about, you know, I've seen various different programs on the West, on the Morse murders and other crime documentaries, but I've never really fully read a book about fully. I've never read a true crime book, so this was my first introduction of like reading a true crime book, and I've got to say it was a very fabulous read. It was very disturbing in some respects, because Geoffrey Wansell has actually said in his you know, opening remarks, the introduction to this book was that he didn't want to leave any stone unturned, that he wanted to fully paint the apparent, deprived and ugly nature of the West crimes, and how West had no warm feeling and total disregard to all human life. He just treated women as a piece of meat in order for him to live out his dark sexual desires and fantasies. So no stone was left unturned by Geoffrey Wansell's writing. and so he talked in like there was sort of some like graphic details of like the crimes and like graphic details of Fred and Rosemary's West sort of marriage and relationship and their relationship with their children. So that he will go into great detail of like how Rosemary was working as a prostitute in, in Cromwell Street. She would entertain clients, and then West would encourage her to have sex with various men from different cultural backgrounds, black men and stuff, and then he would have sex with Rose and then film them having sex or film Rose having sex with other men. They would also play an active role in like the sexual torture of the women. The one that I found most apparent was the one that where Geoffrey Wansell talks about the incest and sexual abuse of their eldest daughter, Anna Marie West. Now, she was sort of forced into prostitution by the West from the age of 13, and they would encourage other men to have sex with, a child. And I think sex, Fred West did have a sort of a dark, sort of warped, tradition of thought towards sex, and especially when he said that thought that it was a father's right to take his daughter's virginity, because he believed, like, from lessons from his father, I suppose, was that he wanted to, it was his duty to break his daughters in sexually, so they would know what to expect, when they entered into a proper sort of relationship. And it was also a warped thing of Fred West would conduct these abnormal, sort of disgusting experiments. So he would encourage, West, Rosemary, to have sex with black men, black clients, and then he would make her say, show a pair of knickers to the camera with the black man's sperm still on the knickers, and he would put them into these jars, and then he would like sort of mix them in order to make a mixed race child, and it was sort of all that apparent things, and that would be referred to as Rosie's chocolates, these sperms, and putting them in glass jars. It also goes into graphic detail about, what their sexual activities would do. So there was one occasion where Geoffrey Wansell describes an encounter where Fred West makes Rosemary insert a pint beer glass into her vagina and urinate in it, and then he sort of, she pours the urine over her body. And there's one occasion where Rosemary urinates on a tea towel in the kitchen and then wipes the urinated tea towel all over her body. And it's a quite sickening description, and like I say, no stone has been left unturned, and Geoffrey Wansell also includes this very detailed, graphic, revolting and disgusting document, which I won't repeat because there's a lot of, of sort of how it describes, genitals that probably wouldn't be accepted for social media. So in all, this document goes into graphic detail and describes, what Rosemary and Fred allow clients to do to Rosemary's genital parts, but in graphic detail. But I won't say what it is because the video I might get a lot of backlash and complaints. So so overall it was a really good book. It goes into the details of his relationships with his first wife, Rena Costello, and their stepdaughter Charmaine, and it also goes into detail about his relationship with another girl from Glasgow, because Rena was a girl from Scotland, Glasgow, and there was also another girl who he sort of took advantage of, called Anne McFall, who he murdered. But it goes into great detail about how when he was in prison, Fred West, even though he was illiterate for most of his life, Fred West was working on an unpublished sort of prison memoirs called, and this book was sort of untitled, I Was Loved by an Angel, and that is about his relationship with this other Glaswegian girl, Anne McFall, and that's sort of a warped sense of reality. He had a very warped sense of reality and what love was. And I suppose Fred and Rosemary West did love each other in their own sort of mad warped kind of way. It wasn't the sort of love that, a normal couple, a normal couple, a conservative couple, married couple, or a conservative partnership would have. They had a very warped sense and deprived and abhorrent and revolting idea of what love was, and it was purely evil. And just my last sort of response is why I loved it so I like this book so much is that each chapter of the book, Geoffrey Wansell opened the chapter with various different quotes from Shakespearean plays, Beatrix Potter, but the one that stood out for me was a quote that he used from the work of Divine Comedy, which was a work by Dante Alighieri, obviously most commonly known as Dante. And this quote goes along at something as, I'll paraphrase it and forgive me if it isn't the exact quote, but this is the quote from Dante that the book opens with in the very first chapter from Dante's Divine Comedy, and this quote goes something along the lines of, an evil man's smile makes the crooked path seem straight. And although there was a lot of other fantastic, well-researched quotes, especially from Shakespeare's Hamlet and the like, I thought this one stood out to me the most because it really described Fred West very well, really. It summed him up really. He had this mischievous smile and he could manipulate people very well and, cast them under his spell. But this smile was it wasn't a nice smile, it was a pure evil and vindictive smile. So that's why it stood out to me the most, along with any other of the opening chapter quotes. So that concludes this month's book review. Thanks for tuning in. The next episode of the Butterfly Princess Show Book Club will be on the 28th of November, so hope you can join me for that. Obviously, I won't be revealing the name of the next book that I will be discussing in November's episode. That will be released on the Butterfly Princess Show Facebook page on the 28th of November. So keep your eyes peeled and your ears open for that. And if you haven't already liked and followed and interacted with the Butterfly Princess Show, I invite and welcome any new audience members, along with my most faithful audience members. So don't forget, you can follow the Butterfly Princess Show on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. Yeah, so you can follow the show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. You can follow it on Facebook, YouTube. You can follow it on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So them 4 platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And I look forward to connecting with you very soon. Bye-bye for now, and enjoy the rest of your week and your weekend. Bye.